The map is wrong. March 3rd, 1970, 08:30 hours. Nguyen Van Hai, CIA operative, aged 29, deep cover in North Vietnamese Army headquarters, stares at the topographic map on Colonel Duc's desk. The map looks perfect. Official paper, official stamps, official everything. The map shows Firebase Bravo at grid 491740, shows NVA artillery positions at 485230, shows assembly areas at 486233, except the map is lying. Hai made it lie. Every coordinate shifted exactly 2.5 kilometers west. Every position moved. Every reference point altered. The map shows Firebase Bravo where empty jungle exists, shows empty jungle where Firebase Bravo stands. A perfect reversal. In 3 hours, Operation Red Storm launches. NVA artillery fires at coordinates they think are Firebase Bravo. Shells land on their own assembly area.
Air support bombs positions they think are American defenses. Bombs hit their own artillery. Hai runs the calculation one more time. Artillery at 485230, firing at fake Firebase Bravo, 491740. Actual trajectory hits 489240, exactly where 400 NVA troops are assembling. Perfect geometry, perfect death. 3 hours until 11:30. 3 hours until 127 soldiers die from their own weapons. This is the story of the most elegant sabotage in Vietnam War. How one CIA operative spent 6 weeks creating a masterpiece forgery. How he substituted it in 90 seconds of impossible pressure. And how 127 soldiers died from their own artillery and air support because every position on their map was reversed. How Hai spent 2 years building trust just to betray it in 90 seconds. How 4 changed digits on a map became more deadly than any weapon.
How professional soldiers following professional procedures killed themselves, and how one man carries 127 names he never knew for 53 years, and counting. If you want stories about deception as weapon, where paper kills more than bullets and trust becomes the deadliest vulnerability, hit subscribe right now. Because what Hai was told at CIA training about sabotage operations is about to collide with what 127 casualties actually feels like when you watch them through binoculars, and that collision never ends. 6 weeks earlier, January 20th, 1970, Nguyen Van Hai works in NVA headquarters cartography section, 2nd floor, room 47, makes maps, updates maps, maintains maps. Perfect cover for a CIA operative. Maps show everything. Unit positions, supply routes, operational plans. Every military secret eventually crosses a cartographer's desk.
Hai photographs maps, passes film to handlers. Dead drops in Saigon, standard procedures, standard tradecraft, standard intelligence work. 2 years doing this, 2 years of routine. 2 years of being invisible. The best operatives are invisible. The best spies are the ones nobody notices. The best intelligence officers are the ones who look exactly like what they pretend to be. Hai is excellent operative. Until Colonel Nguyen Van Duc walks in. Sergeant Hai, I need a topographic map. Duc drops a requisition form on Hai's desk. Official form, proper stamps, priority classification. Grid coordinates 487235 through 492241, Firebase Bravo sector, Operation Red Storm. 400 men, full artillery and air support, coordinated assault. This is the big one, the one that matters. I need every terrain feature, every elevation,
every grid reference perfect. This operation succeeds or a lot of people die. Hai scans the coordinates. Firebase Bravo, 200 Americans, well defended, strong position. He knows this firebase, mapped it before, sent the intelligence to Langley. Standard intelligence product, nothing special. 3 days, Colonel, maybe 4 if you want perfection. I want perfection. Many lives depend on accurate coordinates. Duc taps the requisition. Emphasis. Weight. Seriousness. This isn't routine mapping. This is operational planning. Real soldiers will use this map. Real artillery crews will calculate trajectories from this map. Real pilots will bomb coordinates from this map. Mistakes kill people, Sergeant. I need this map to be perfect. Absolutely perfect. After Duc leaves, Hai sits motionless for 10 minutes. Stares at the requisition form. Operation Red Storm. 400 NVA hitting Firebase Bravo. Major operation. Coordinated assault. Warning. The Americans is simple. Dead drop. Coded message. Firebase gets reinforced. Attack fails. Standard procedure. Good result. Mission accomplished. But Hai's mind goes somewhere else. Somewhere dangerous. Somewhere creative. What if he could do more than warn? What if he could turn the operation against itself? What if the map could be weapon? He grabs scratch paper, pencil, starts sketching, works fast, thinking through mathematics, through geometry, through ballistics. If NVA positions artillery at standard doctrine distance, 4 kilometers from target, and if the map shifts, Firebase Bravo coordinates 2.5 kilometers west, then artillery calculates trajectory to false position.
Shells fly toward false coordinates, but trajectories don't lie. Physics doesn't lie, only maps lie, so shells land. He works the math carefully. Real Firebase at 489238. Show it at 491740 on fake map. That's 2.5 kilometer shift west. Artillery positions at 485230 per doctrine. Range to fake target, calculated. Trajectory, calculated. But actual trajectory points at. He double checks the mathematics, recalculates, confirms. Grid 489240. That's where shells actually land. Right where NVA troops assemble before assault. Standard assembly area. Standard pre-attack position. Standard doctrine. 2.5 kilometers from objective, exactly where 400 soldiers will be waiting. Packed tight, organized, perfect target density. The geometry is almost too perfect. Artillery targeting fake Firebase Bravo hits real NVA assembly area. He sketches more. Air support. Pilots will bomb American defensive positions around fake Firebase coordinates. Those positions correspond to where NVA artillery will actually be. Air support bombs fake American positions, hits real NVA guns, a complete reversal. Every coordinate becomes its own opposite, every position inverted, every target reversed. This isn't just deception, it's orchestrated suicide. One fake map could kill more NVA than Firebase Bravo's entire defensive capability. Could destroy the operation before it starts, could eliminate 400 soldiers without Americans firing a shot, could win the battle through paper, through ink, through lies rendered in cartographic form. Hai stares at his sketch, the overlapping kill zones, the perfect geometry, the deadly mathematics. This is possible. This is achievable. This could work.
One fake map. 6 weeks of work, 90 seconds of courage to substitute it. Then, wait. Wait for operation. Wait for artillery. Wait for bombs. Wait for friendly fire. Wait for 400 soldiers to destroy themselves through trust. He studies the sketch for another minute, memorizes the coordinates, memorizes the calculations, memorizes everything. Then burns the paper in his ashtray, watches it curl and blacken and disappear. No evidence. Just mathematics in memory. Just deception in mind. Just weapon in thought. Safer that way. Always safer. Evidence kills operatives. Memory is invisible. Invisible is safe. The thought sits in his mind, elegant and terrible. Give them a map where every coordinate is wrong. Not obviously wrong, that would be detected. Subtly wrong, professionally wrong. Shift everything 2.5 kilometers west.
Make it look like normal cartography. Make it look like legitimate product. Make it look like truth. But make it weapon. Make it death. Make it perfect betrayal disguised as perfect service. 4 weeks minimum to create perfect forgery. Maybe 6. Time doesn't matter. Perfection matters. Because imperfect deception is detected deception. And detected deception is dead operative. And dead operative accomplishes nothing. So, perfection. However long it takes. Whatever it costs. Perfect or nothing. Hai begins that night. 6 weeks of creation, making lies look like truth. First week, Hai creates the real map, the baseline, the truth before corruption. Can't forge what you don't understand. Can't make convincing lie without knowing truth. So, truth first, then corruption. He works after hours when cartography section empties. Security makes rounds every 2 hours. He times work between patrols, locks the door, hangs jacket over window, creates appearance of empty room, works in silence, just lamplight, just precision, just craft. The craft of making truth perfect so lies can be perfect. Spreads topographic data across drafting table, elevation surveys, aerial photographs, ground reconnaissance reports, intelligence from multiple sources, cross-references everything, verifies everything, confirms everything, builds the truth coordinate by coordinate, elevation by elevation, feature by feature. Firebase Bravo sits at grid 489238. He marks it precisely. Defensive positions, artillery emplacements, communication bunkers, machine gun nests, mortar positions, everything. Every American position located with precision. Then terrain, elevation lines every 20 meters. Ridge lines running north-south, valley floors, stream beds cutting east, vegetation density marked, grid references every kilometer, everything a military planner needs, everything that makes a map trusted. Works with official instruments, official templates, official technical pens, every line calculated, every contour verified, every grid reference confirmed, professional work, perfect work. By week's end, he has masterpiece, accurate to within 10 meters. This map could guide artillery fire with surgical precision, could direct airstrikes with perfect accuracy, could navigate troops through complex terrain without error. This is truth rendered in ink and paper. Hai studies it under lamplight, commits it to memory, the real positions, the actual coordinates, the truth, every detail, every feature, every line. Because to corrupt truth effectively, you have to know truth completely. He files this map in his personal drawer, locks it, the real map, the truth. The thing only he will see, the baseline for measuring deception, hidden, secret, safe. Now comes the hard part. Now comes the mathematics of death. Second week, pure calculation. Hai needs to understand exactly how NVA will use this map. Not guess, not approximate. Know, with certainty, with precision, because deception requires prediction, requires understanding enemy procedures, enemy doctrine, enemy thinking. He studies previous NVA operations, reviews after action reports he's photographed over 2 years, learns their doctrine, learns their patterns, learns their predictability. Artillery positions 4 kilometers from target when terrain permits. Standard doctrine, tested doctrine,
Reliable doctrine. Assembly areas 2.5 kilometers out, always, consistently, predictably. Approach routes follow terrain contours to mask movement from observation. Everything predictable when you know doctrine. Everything calculable when you understand procedures. Hai plots probable NVA positions on the real map, uses doctrine to predict. Artillery at 485230, 4 kilometers east of Firebase Bravo, perfect range for D-30 howitzers, good firing position with elevation advantage, assembly at 486233, 2.5 kilometers out, perfect assault distance, good terrain for organizing 400 troops, concealment from air observation, approach routes along ridgelines, standard concealment, standard tactics, all predictable, all calculable, all exploitable. Now the reversal, the corruption, the weaponization. He creates transparent overlay, shows fake positions.
Shifts everything 2.5 kilometers west. Consistent shift. Uniform shift. Believable shift. The fake map will show Firebase Bravo at 491740. That's where NVA will think target is. That's where they'll plan around. That's where they'll calculate from. That's the lie. But physics doesn't lie, ballistics doesn't lie, trajectories don't lie, only maps lie. So when artillery aims at fake coordinates, shells fly toward fake target, but actual trajectory, actual ballistics, actual physics puts impacts at. He calculates carefully. Double checks, triple checks, recalculates using different methods, confirms with ballistics tables, verifies with trajectory charts. Grid 489240. That's where shells land, right where NVA troops will be assembling, where 400 soldiers will be packed into 200-meter square.
Where professional soldiers will be organized in assault formations, where trust will be highest, where guard will be down, where vulnerability will be maximum, where death will be perfect. He runs the ballistics calculations 7 times, different methods each time, different approaches, different tables, all confirm same result. Every time, no variation, no error, just mathematics, just physics, just truth about trajectory, even when map lies about target. D-30 howitzers, 122mm shells, 15-kilometer maximum range, firing from 48.523 at target 491740. Elevation angle calculated, powder charge calculated, time of flight calculated, trajectory plotted, apex identified, descent angle computed, impact point determined 489240. Exactly, precisely, perfectly, every single time. Mathematics doesn't lie, physics doesn't deceive. Only cartographers do that. Air support calculations are simpler, but equally deadly. Pilots will bomb positions around fake firebase coordinates, defensive positions, supply areas, communication centers, standard close air support targets. Those positions, when shifted 2.5 kilometers west on fake map, correspond exactly to where real NVA artillery will be positioned. Grid 485230 vicinity, where 6 howitzers will be set up, where 60 crew members will be working, where ammunition will be stored, where command post will be functioning, where vulnerability is maximum, where bombs will be devastating. Planes bombing fake American defenses will destroy real NVA guns. Pilots following correct procedures will kill friendly forces, all because map lies, perfect reversal, perfect irony, perfect death. On day 10 of second week, Colonel Duc enters cartography section unexpectedly. Hai looks up from his drafting table. He's working on legitimate map, different sector, nothing to do with Firebase Bravo. Always maintain cover, always work on legitimate projects, never let anyone see what you're really doing. Sergeant Hai, progress on Firebase Bravo map. Hai sets down his technical pen, meets Duc's eyes, confident, professional, unhurried. On schedule, Colonel. The terrain is more complex than initial surveys indicated. Multiple ridge systems, difficult sight lines, contradictory elevation data from different surveys, triple checking everything. You said perfection matters more than speed. Duc nods, approaches the drafting table, studies the map Hai's working on, completely different sector, Grid coordinates nowhere near Firebase Bravo. This level of detail,
This precision, this is what I need for Operation Red Storm. Every contour line verified, every grid reference confirmed. Exactly what you'll receive, Colonel. Duc picks up one of Hai's technical pens, examines it, studies the fine point, the precision instrument, sets it down carefully. You know why I chose you for this map, Sergeant? Why I requested you specifically? No, Colonel. Because I've seen your work. 2 years of maps, hundreds of maps, every single one accurate, every single one precise, every single one perfect. You're the best cartographer in this headquarters, maybe the best in the entire NVA. Your maps have guided successful operations. Your coordinates have directed accurate artillery fire. Your work has saved lives by being correct. That's why I trust you with Operation Red Storm.
that's why I'm giving you 400 lives to protect. Hai feels the weight, the irony, the terrible irony. Duc trusts him because he's been excellent, been accurate, been reliable. 2 years of perfect work building credibility, building trust, building foundation. Foundation that Hai is about to exploit, about to betray, about to weaponize. Duc trusts him precisely because he's earned that trust. And that trust is what makes the killing possible. I understand the responsibility, Colonel. Do you? Duc leans forward, serious, intense. I've seen too many operations fail from bad maps, from bad coordinates, from cartographers who cut corners, who approximated, who guessed. I've seen artillery hit wrong positions because the map was wrong. Seen air support bomb wrong targets because coordinates were wrong. Maps kill people when they're inaccurate, Sergeant. Maps save people when they're perfect, you understand? Your map will determine whether 400 soldiers live or die, whether they succeed or fail, whether they come home or get buried. That's what your work means. That's what cartography is. Life and death rendered in ink. Perfect words, terrible words, ironic words, true words that Duc doesn't realize how true they are, doesn't realize how prophetic they are, doesn't realize he's explaining exactly why Hai's deception will work. Because maps kill when they're wrong. Because soldiers trust cartographers. Because systems depend on accuracy. Because professionals follow procedures. Because everyone believes their own headquarters, their own cartography section, their own sergeant. Duc is explaining exactly why 127 will die. Why friendly fire will work, why deception will succeed, and he doesn't even know it. I understand completely, Colonel. Every coordinate will be perfect. Every grid reference will be exact. I stake my professional reputation on it. I'm trusting you with 400 lives, Sergeant. 400 soldiers who will use this map. Who will trust this map? Who will follow these coordinates? Their lives depend on your accuracy, on your precision, on your integrity as cartographer. Don't fail them. Don't fail me. I won't fail you, Colonel. You have my word. After Duc leaves, Hai sits motionless for 5 minutes, stares at the wall, processes what just happened. Every coordinate will be perfect, perfectly wrong, perfectly deadly, perfectly calculated to kill. Duc just explained exactly why this will work. Because maps kill when they're wrong, because everyone trusts the cartographer, because 400 lives depend on coordinates, because professional soldiers follow professional procedures, because systems depend on trust. Duc's trust is what makes the betrayal possible, what makes it effective, what makes it deadly. The Colonel trusts Hai because Hai has earned that trust, earned it through 2 years of accurate maps, 2 years of professional work, 2 years of reliable service, 2 years of building credibility for this moment, for this mission, for this killing. All the accurate maps were prologue. All the perfect work was preparation. All the trusted service was foundation. Foundation for betrayal. That's long-term intelligence work. That's deep cover operation. That's what 2 years of reliability purchases. One moment of perfect betrayal. Weeks 3 through 6. The physical forgery. Official paper from supply cabinet. Same stock NVA cartography uses. Cream-colored. Cotton fiber. Water resistant. Official ink. Same manufacturer. Same batch numbers. Official stamps. From supply cabinet. Cartography section. NVA headquarters. Verified. Topographic survey. Hai works 12-hour nights by lamplight, between security patrols, in locked room, in silence. Grid lines first. Foundation for everything, using official template. Plastic guide that ensures perfect spacing. Measures 3 times, draws once, each line straight, each intersection precise. Then elevation contours. These are critical. Contours have to flow naturally, have to follow terrain logic, have to understand how water flows, how ridges form, how valleys cut. Have to make fake terrain look real even though positions are false. The contours around fake Firebase Bravo position, empty jungle in reality, have to look like plausible Firebase terrain, elevated, defensive, reasonable. The contours around real Firebase Bravo position, shown as empty jungle on fake map, have to look like nothing important, just terrain, just features, just background, everything professional, everything precise, everything perfect except truth. Firebase at wrong location, but looking like Firebase should look. Everything shifted, everything reversed, everything deadly, everything looking normal. That's craft, that's art, that's deception as profession. Takes 5 nights for the base map, the geography, the terrain, the foundation of the lie. Week 4, the signature, the authorization, the final touch that makes everything official. Duc's personal authorization, required on all operational maps. Without it, map is unofficial, unauthorized, suspicious. With it, map is legitimate, trusted, believed, deadly. Hai can't access Duc's actual stamp. It's in Colonel's office, locked drawer, impossible to steal. So, forgery, freehand forgery, perfect replication of Duc's signature. He collected examples over 2 years, studied Duc's signature on dozens of documents, analyzed the pattern, the sweep of the D, the sharp angle of the U, the flourish on the C, the way letters connect, the pressure points, the confident speed, practiced 50 times on scratch paper, each signature slightly better, each one more confident. By 30th attempt, pattern is automatic. His hand knows the movement, knows the speed, knows the pressure. By 50th attempt, he can forge Duc's signature with eyes closed. Muscle memory, automatic, perfect. Now, the actual map, the final forgery, the real thing. Everything else is complete. Grid lines, contours, features, positions, everything except authorization. Just needs signature, just needs authority, just needs legitimacy. Hai positions the pen, technical pen, official ink, 0.7mm line width, right margin, standard signature position, standard placement. He closes his eyes, visualizes Duc signing documents, the speed, the confidence, the casual authority, the muscle memory of man who signs things constantly. No hesitation, no overthinking, no careful precision, just automatic movement, just signature happening without thought, just authority rendered in ink. Opens eyes, signs in one fluid motion, 3 seconds, done. The signature looks perfect, looks exactly like Duc's hand, looks exactly like authority, looks exactly like approval. Could a forensic examiner detect it? Maybe. with microscopic analysis, with ink dating, with pressure analysis, with laboratory equipment, with time, with suspicion, with reason to investigate. But nobody will investigate. Why would they? Internal map, from headquarters cartography, certified by official stamps, signed by Colonel. Everything proper, everything official, everything legitimate. Nobody questions their own documents. Nobody suspects their own systems. Nobody investigates their own cartographers. That's what makes it work. That's what makes it deadly. Trust, weeks 5 and 6, aging, making new look old, making created look discovered. New map look suspicious. Fresh ink, pristine paper, uncreased, unhandled, unused. Map that looks new raises questions. When was this made? Why now? Why so fresh? This map needs history, needs age, needs appearance of having existed for months. Sunlight exposure, not direct. Too obvious would damage it. Diffused sunlight near window. 2 days, 8 hours daily. Paper yellows subtly. Edges slightly more than center. Natural appearance, natural aging. Folding, standard military fold. Trifold pattern. Opens, folds again, opens, repeats 70 times. Fold lines become visible. Subtle creases, permanent marks. Evidence of use, evidence of opening and closing, evidence of being handled repeatedly, handling with slightly dirty hands. Not obviously dirty, just normal daily dirt. Oil from skin, dust from surfaces. Fingerprints appear at logical positions, corners where hands grip when opening.
Centers where fingers trace routes, edges where hands steady while reading. Natural handling patterns, natural smudging, natural wear, coffee stain, critical detail. Maps used in planning sessions get coffee, get tea, get stained. Shows map was used in meetings, was consulted during planning, was present during decision making, dilutes coffee, very diluted, barely colored, spills tiny amount on lower right corner, just enough to stain slightly. Just enough to suggest cup was set down near map, blots immediately. Lets dry naturally. The stain is subtle, perfect, believable. Small tear in margin. Maps that get handled get damaged slightly. Nothing major, just small tear. Couple millimeters. Creates it carefully, makes it look accidental, makes it look like rough handling. Then repairs with official map tape, transparent tape. Professional repair, shows someone cared enough to repair, shows map is valued, shows map is important, perfect detail, perfect touch, perfect deception, final touch, documentation. Every official map has creation metadata, date created, cartographer's initials, reference number, certification codes. Hai fills this out, backdates it, 3 months. December 1969, makes map appear created 3 months ago, makes forgery look like it predates Operation Red Storm planning, makes weapon look like it existed before the mission it's designed to destroy, signs his own initials, Nguyen Van Hai. Why not? He works here. He's authorized cartographer. If anyone checks, yes, Sergeant Hai created this map last December. Standard work, official product, routine production. Nobody will question their own cartographer. February 15th. The forgery is complete. 6 weeks of work, 6 weeks of precision, 6 weeks of deception. Perfect in every detail except the detail that matters. Perfect except truth. Perfect weapon disguised as perfect tool. That night, Hai sits in his quarters, both maps in front of him, real and fake, side by side on his bunk, identical in every way except truth, identical except coordinates. Tomorrow, he commits the act. Tomorrow, the substitution. Tomorrow, 400 soldiers become casualties waiting to happen. He studies both maps, looking for tells, looking for differences visible to eye, looking for anything that would expose fake. Nothing. indistinguishable, paper identical, ink identical, aging identical, stamps identical, signature identical, wear patterns identical, even fold lines match, even coffee stain looks natural, even tear looks accidental, even repair looks routine, everything identical, everything perfect, everything indistinguishable. The fake map looks like it's lived in filing cabinet for months, looks like it's been consulted repeatedly, looks like it's been trusted completely, looks like standard official product of standard official cartography section, looks like everything it should be except what it is, looks like truth while being lie, looks like tool while being weapon, looks like safety while being death. Tomorrow everything changes. Tomorrow is 90 seconds from success or exposure. Tomorrow is 90 seconds from mission accomplished or death. Tomorrow is 90 seconds from 127 dying or high dying. Tomorrow is everything. He doesn't sleep, can't sleep, too much adrenaline, too much anticipation, just sits with maps, with choice, with knowledge, with burden to come. Waiting for tomorrow, waiting for 90 seconds. February 16th, 0900 hours, 90 seconds. The real map is in Colonel Duc's office, filing cabinet, second drawer marked Operation Red Storm, confidential. Hai knows exact location. Knows because he filed it there himself 2 weeks ago when Duc requested preliminary terrain analysis, filed it personally, knows exactly where it is, knows exactly what folder, knows exactly what position in folder. Professional preparation, professional planning. The fake map has to replace it. Perfect substitution, perfect exchange. Real map out, fake map in. Same folder, same position, same everything except truth. And Hai has to do it without anyone noticing, without anyone suspecting. The problem, Duc's office is never empty during duty hours. Never. The colonel works from 0800 to 1800, 10 hours. His aide, Corporal Tran, age 21, sits at desk outside. Guard position, security position, protection position. Officers come and go constantly. Meetings, briefings, reports, consultations. The place is hive of activity, constant movement, constant observation, constant presence. No privacy, no opportunity. Hai needs impossible, needs office empty, needs guard gone, needs to create window, needs to manufacture chance. That's what operatives do. That's what training is for. Create opportunity where none exists, exploit situations, manipulate circumstances, make impossible happen. At 0855, Hai approaches Tran's desk, carries folder, legitimate folder, real documents, actual work, professional appearance, official business, normal everything. Corporal Tran, Colonel Duc asked me to update operations maps. I need to check his planning materials to verify some coordinates. 5 minutes, in and out. Simple verification. Tran shakes his head immediately, doesn't even consider it. Automatic refusal, following orders, following protocol, following duty. Colonel's in briefing upstairs, general staff meeting, said nobody enters his office while he's out. New security protocol, direct orders, very clear, very specific. You'll have to wait until he returns. No exceptions. New security protocol, of course, because headquarters evolves, because operations tighten security, because timing is never perfect. New protocol means new problem, means plan A is dead, means improvisation required, standard operative problem, standard operative solution required, Hai nods, professional acceptance, no argument, no pressure, just understood. When will he return? 30 minutes, maybe 40. General staff meetings run long, always. Hai retreats to cartography section, sits at his desk, looks like he's working. But mind is racing, planning, calculating, adapting.
The briefing upstairs runs until 09:30, 35 minutes. Duc will return. Office will be accessible. But Tran will be there, always there. Dutiful aide, professional soldier, perfect obstacle. Can't do substitution with Tran watching. Can't enter office with guard present. Need Tran gone. Need desk empty. Need guard absent. Need to create what doesn't exist. At 09:20, Hai returns to Duc's office area. Casual approach, normal appearance, natural demeanor, carrying nothing obvious. The fake map is rolled tight inside his uniform jacket, against his chest, hidden, ready. The map that will kill 127. Right against his heart, hidden, invisible, waiting. He approaches Tran's desk, professional manner, helpful tone, concerned expression, colleague helping colleague. Corporal Tran, supply office just called cartography section. They said they have requisition ready for you. Map cases, storage units, 50 units, large shipment. They need someone to verify before delivery. They said truck leaves for depot in 15 minutes. If you don't verify now, signature authority, you'll be stuck with 50 map cases you apparently ordered. That's what they said. Probably administrative error, but you know how supply office is. Better to clear it up now. Stop shipment before it arrives, before someone has to explain it, before paperwork disaster happens. Tran frowns, confusion, suspicion, natural reaction. I didn't order map cases.
We don't need map cases, we have plenty. That's wrong. That's mistake. That's what I told them. That's exactly what I said. But they insist they have requisition. Form 27B. Your signature apparently. Your section designation. They're preparing shipment right now. Truck departs 135. 15 minutes. If you don't clear this up now, administrative disaster. Those map cases arrive, someone has to store them. Someone has to process them. Someone has to explain them. Someone has to handle return paperwork. Much easier to stop shipment now. Just walk down to supply office. 3 minutes. Show them there's error. Clear it up. Prevent disaster. Simple. Tran hesitates. Visible calculation. Weighing options. Weighing duty. Weighing priorities. Primary duty clear. Don't leave office unattended. New security protocol, direct orders. But also, don't allow administrative errors to create problems. Don't let unnecessary supplies get shipped. The map cases are administrative threat, potential problem, need resolution. 3 minutes to supply office, 2 floors down. Quick conversation, clear up error, return, fast, simple. What could happen in 3 minutes? I can't leave the Colonel's office unattended. Security protocol, direct orders from Colonel himself. Hai nods, understanding, reasonable, expected resistance. Then offers solution. I'll watch it. 2 minutes, maybe 3. You run down to supply office, clear this up fast. I'll stand right here, make sure nobody enters. I'll be guard, I'll be security. Anyone approaches, I'll tell them Colonel is out. Office is secured. Come back later. Simple. You'll be back in 3 minutes.
Before the Colonel returns from briefing, before anyone knows you left, before anything happens, I'll watch it. Professional courtesy, colleague helping colleague. Simple. Tran calculates again. Weighs options again. Hai is fellow sergeant. Cartography section, 2 years here. Known quantity, reliable, professional, never caused problems, good soldier, trusted enough. 2 minutes, 3 at most. What's actual risk? What could happen? Administrative error getting cleared versus security protocol getting slightly bent. Very slightly, very temporarily, very reasonably. The error seems more pressing, more immediate, more solvable. 2 minutes, 3 at most. That's reasonable. That's acceptable. 3 minutes maximum, maybe 2. Don't let anyone in, nobody, not even other officers.
Colonel returns and finds someone in his office unauthorized. We both answer for it. Both of us. Understood? Understood completely. 3 minutes. Nobody enters. Go clear up the supply error. I'll secure the office. Tran stands, hesitates 1 more second. Final check. Final calculation. Final decision. Then movement. Commitment. Walking away. Down the hall. Towards stairs. Towards supply office. Toward fabricated emergency. Toward non-existent requisition. Toward 3 minutes of absence. Toward window of opportunity. Toward Hai's created chance. Hai watches him disappear around corner. Watches him descend stairs. Watches him go. Checks watch. 3 minutes starts now. Maybe 4 if supply office is confused by non-existent requisition. Maybe 5 if Tran has to explain multiple times. Maybe 2 if Tran is fast and supply office is immediately clear that no requisition exists and everything resolves instantly. 2 to 5 minutes. That's window. That's opportunity. That's everything. Hai enters Duke's office, closes door, moves fast. No hesitation, no pause, no uncertainty. Just movement, action, execution, mission. Now. Filing cabinet against wall, second drawer from top. Standard military filing cabinet. Green metal, combination lock, locked. Of course locked. Security protocol, classified materials, sensitive documents, everything locked, always locked. Hai pulls wire from pocket, prepared yesterday, practiced on identical cabinet in cartography section, practiced 50 times, muscle memory now, tension wrench and rake pick, 2 pieces of wire, bent specifically, shaped precisely. The lock is simple.
Standard military hardware, standard tumbler design, standard security, standard vulnerability, inserts tension wrench, applies rotational pressure, just enough, not too much, feels for resistance, inserts a rake pick, manipulates tumblers, feels for pins, feels for movement, 10 seconds, click, first tumbler sets, 15 seconds, click, second tumbler sets, 20 seconds, click, third tumbler sets, 25 seconds, click, fourth tumbler sets, 30 seconds elapsed. The lock opens, drawer unlocks, access gained, obstacle overcome, pulls drawer open, files inside, organized, labeled, professional filing, multiple folders, color-coded, classified markings, finds folder marked, Operation Red Storm, confidential, red stripe across top, classification stamp, security designation, thick folder, multiple documents, maps, reports, plans. Intelligence summaries, everything about operation, everything sensitive, everything classified, everything important, opens folder, inside, maps, the real map on top, accurate map, true map, the map that would save 400 lives if they used it, the map that shows truth. Hai extracts it, rolls tight, precise roll, specific diameter, slides inside uniform jacket, against chest, next to heart, where fake map was moments ago. Real map goes in, fake map comes out, perfect exchange, perfect switch, perfect substitution. The fake map, rolled identically, aged identically, documented identically, slides into folder, into exact position where real map was. Perfect replacement, perfect deception. Nobody comparing side by side would immediately notice difference, would need to check coordinates, would need to verify positions, would need reason to doubt, but there's no reason, no cause, no suspicion. Internal map, from headquarters cartography, certified by official stamps, signed by Colonel, created 3 months ago per documentation, normal product, official work, trusted source, everything legitimate, everything proper, everything official, everything deadly. Hai closes folder, positions exactly as found, exactly as it was, no variation, no difference, no trace. Closes drawer, lock engages, click, secure again, protected again, Classified again. Wire returns to pocket. Evidence disappears. Tools invisible. Nothing visible. Nothing suspicious. Nothing wrong. 60 seconds elapsed since entering office. 1 minute. 60 seconds to pick lock, extract real map, insert fake map, close drawer, secure lock. 60 seconds of perfect execution. 60 seconds of impossible action. Opens door, steps out, closes door quietly, normal close, standard action. Walks to Tran's desk, sits casually, calm exterior, hammering heart, controlled breathing, professional appearance. Nothing happened, just watching office, just helping colleague, just normal, everything fine, everything succeeded. Tran returns 90 seconds later, faster than expected, moving quickly, looking confused. Supply office had no idea what I was talking about. No map cases, no requisition, no Form 27B with my name, no shipment being prepared, no truck departing, no emergency, complete confusion. Must have been error, must have been miscommunication, must have been something. But nothing there, nothing at all. Hai nods, sympathetic, understanding, natural reaction. Administrative errors happen all the time. Communication breakdowns, crossed wires, wrong section, wrong person, happens constantly. At least you caught it before any problems developed. Colonel's office stayed secure. Nobody came by, nobody approached. Everything fine. No issues. Good. Thank you for watching it. I appreciate it. No problem. Happy to help. Colleague helping colleague. Normal courtesy. I'll check back later when Colonel is available for those map updates. Let him know I need 5 minutes to verify topographic data when he returns. I'll tell him. Hai stands, walks away, casual walk, normal pace, professional departure. Nothing suspicious, nothing unusual. Nothing indicating that in 90 seconds, 60 seconds in office, 30 seconds at desk, he committed perfect betrayal, planted perfect weapon, deployed perfect deception, sentenced 400 soldiers to death, changed battle's outcome, accomplished mission, everything. 90 seconds to pick lock, extract real map, insert fake map, close drawer, exit office, sit calmly at desk, appear normal while Tran returns. 90 seconds of impossible, 90 seconds of perfect tradecraft, 90 seconds of complete success, 90 seconds that will kill 127 people. That will destroy operation. That will win battle. That will create burden. That will define life. 90 seconds. That's all it took. That's what perfect substitution requires. That's what 6 weeks of preparation enables. 90 seconds. Done. Complete. Perfect. Irreversible. The fake map is in play. In Colonel Duc's filing cabinet. In Operation Red Storm confidential folder. In exact position. In perfect disguise. Certified. Signed. Official. Trusted. Deadly. The weapon is deployed. The deception is active. The countdown has started. 400 soldiers will plan around this map. Will trust these coordinates. Will follow these positions. Will believe these references. Will use this weapon against themselves. Will bomb themselves. Will artillery themselves. Will destroy themselves. All because they trust. Because they follow procedure. Because they believe their systems. Because they believe their headquarters. Because they believe their cartographer. Because they believe Hai. And Hai betrayed that belief. 90 seconds. Perfect betrayal. Perfect deception. Perfect weapon. Now, wait. Wait for operation. Wait for disaster. Wait for friendly fire. Wait for casualties. Wait for map to kill. Wait for coordinates to destroy.
Wait for deception to work. Wait for 127. 6 weeks until Operation Red Storm. 6 weeks to maintain cover. 6 weeks to act normal. 6 weeks to be regular cartographer. 6 weeks of waiting. 6 weeks of pretending. 6 weeks of countdown. 6 weeks until map becomes murderer. Until deception becomes destruction. Until betrayal becomes casualties. 6 weeks until 127. March 3rd, 11:30 hours. The fire high is 3 kilometers from Firebase Bravo, hidden in tree line, elevated ground, perfect observation position, binoculars, camera, notepad, radio receiver tuned to NVA frequencies, everything needed for documentation, everything needed for after-action report, everything needed for mission completion. He has to watch, has to document, has to verify deception works, has to count cost, has to see what 6 weeks of work accomplishes.
Has to witness what 90 seconds of courage created, has to see 127 people dying, has to count them, has to document them, has to carry them forever. At 11:30 hours exactly, NVA artillery opens fire. 6 D-30 howitzers at grid 485230, exactly where doctrine predicts, exactly where Hai calculated. Hai can see them through binoculars, the crews working, professional, confident, competent, good soldiers, well-trained, experienced. They're doing everything right, following doctrine, following orders, following the map that lies, the map that kills, the map Hai made. They're firing at grid 491740. That's what their map shows. That's what Firebase Bravo coordinates are. They've calculated trajectory carefully, triple-checked mathematics, confirmed angles, verified elevations, done everything perfectly. Professional artillery work.
Professional fire mission, everything right, everything perfect, everything by the book, everything leading to friendly fire, to self-destruction, to exactly what Hai planned. The shells arc overhead. Hai tracks them through binoculars, beautiful parabolas, perfect ballistics, deadly geometry, physics in action, mathematics visualized, death rendered visible. The shells rise, peak, fall, descending, accelerating, terminal velocity, impact imminent, death arriving. The shells fall, not on Firebase Bravo, on grid 489240, the NVA assembly area, where 400 soldiers wait to advance, where troops are organized in assault formations, where professional soldiers stand ready, where targets are perfect, where death is maximum, where Hai's deception becomes Hai's weapon. 400 soldiers packed into 200 meters square, perfect target density.
Textbook artillery target. The shells land center mass. 6 rounds. Simultaneous impact. Earth erupts. Bodies thrown into air. Equipment shattered. Formations destroyed. Smoke and fire consuming everything. Chaos instant. Death immediate. Devastation complete. Screaming. Confusion. Panic. Officers shouting. Soldiers running. Medics overwhelmed. Everything collapse. Everything chaos. Everything death. Everything exactly what Hai's map created. Through the radio receiver, voices screaming, "We're hit! Artillery strike, multiple casualties, massive casualties. Where's it coming from? Who's firing? Firebase Bravo. How did they spot us? How did they know our position? We're in concealment. We're in assembly. We're hidden." They don't know, can't know, don't understand their own artillery is killing them, don't understand their map lied, don't understand their cartographer betrayed them, don't understand anything except death is here, death is now, death is everywhere. Second volley at 11:32, 6 more rounds, same target, same coordinates, same kill zone. The artillery crews are efficient, professional, well-trained, following their fire plan, executing their mission, everything perfect, everything deadly, more death, more destruction, more casualties. Radio, cease fire, cease fire. We're hitting our own people. The coordinates are wrong. Everything is wrong. Cease fire immediately. But it's too late. Third volley already in flight. Artillery doesn't stop instantly. Fire missions don't cancel mid-flight. Shells don't reverse. Death doesn't stop. The third volley lands. 6 more rounds, more death, more devastation, more casualties. Then silence. The artillery stops.
Ceasefire order reaches crews. Guns fall silent. The shelling ends. Damage done. Casualties counted. High lowers binoculars. Counts through smoke. Estimates casualties. Documents everything. 43 dead from 3 artillery volleys. 18 shells. 43 soldiers killed by their own guns. 43 professionals destroyed by professional procedures. 43 people dead because map lied, because trust was betrayed, because High made coordinates wrong. 43. That's first count. That's initial cost. That's beginning of burden. But operation continues. Artillery stopped. Air support continues. Air support doesn't have same communication, doesn't receive ceasefire, doesn't understand ground situation, just knows mission is bomb Firebase Bravo, bomb American positions, support assault, then air support arrives.
2 MiG-17s. High sees them, hears them, fast, low, professional flying, good pilots, experienced, well-trained. They're following coordinates from the map, bombing American defensive positions around Firebase Bravo, positions that don't exist where map shows, positions that actually are NVA artillery at 485230. The same artillery that just killed 43 friendlies, the same guns that just stopped firing, the same positions about to get bombed by their own air support, everything continuing, everything cascading, everything exactly as High planned. The pilots line up runs, perfect approach, perfect timing, perfect everything. Professional mission, professional execution. They're professional, they're confident, they trust their coordinates, trust their briefing, trust their map, trust High, and High's map is killing them, making them bomb their own, turning their professionalism into weapon against themselves. The bombs release, 250 kilogram high explosive, 4 bombs, 2 per aircraft, professional ordnance, professional delivery. The bombs fall. High tracks them, watches descent, watches trajectory, watches death arriving. The bombs hit NVA artillery positions, grid 485230, 6 howitzers, 60 crew members, ammunition stores containing approximately 200 additional shells, command post, fire direction center, everything. The bombs land. Perfect accuracy, perfect destruction. The artillery position disappears, just gone, erased, destroyed. Fire and smoke and devastation. Guns destroyed, crews killed, ammunition cooking off in secondary explosions, massive explosions, chain reactions, everything destroyed, everything gone, everything dead. The entire artillery section eliminated, 31 casualties from airstrike, 31 soldiers killed by friendly bombs, 31 professionals destroyed by professional mission, 31 humans gone because map lied, because coordinates were wrong, because High betrayed trust. 31. That's second count. That's additional cost. That's more burden. High lowers binoculars. 12 minutes since operation started. 12 minutes from first artillery shot to last bomb impact. 12 minutes of operation. 12 minutes of disaster. 12 minutes of friendly fire. 12 minutes of self-destruction. 12 minutes of map killing its makers. 74 killed. 43 from artillery. 31 from bombs. 53 wounded, 127 total casualties from friendly fire, from trusting map, from following orders, from believing systems, from professional soldiers doing everything right, from everything perfect becoming everything deadly. 127, that's total, that's cost, that's burden, that's what 6 weeks of forgery created, that's what 90 seconds of substitution planted, that's what 12 minutes of operation produced. 127 casualties, that's Hai's number, that's what Hai carries, that's what Hai documents, that's what Hai reports. 127. Radio frequencies are chaos, voices screaming, officers confused, someone shouting, "We're bombing ourselves, we're killing ourselves, the map is wrong, the coordinates are wrong, everything is wrong, cease all operations, abort, abort, abort." Too late. Operation is over. Not because Americans fought, because NVA destroyed themselves, because map lied, because coordinates were wrong, because trust was betrayed, because Hai spent 6 weeks forging death, because 90 seconds planted weapon, because 12 minutes killed 127, because everything worked, because deception succeeded, because weapon fired, because mission accomplished. Operation Red Storm is over. Firebase Bravo never fired shot, didn't need to, didn't engage, didn't fight. Americans watched, confused, wondering why NVA is shelling themselves, why NVA is bombing themselves, why operation is collapsing without American involvement, watching, documenting, counting, recording, understanding. Enemy made mistake, enemy had bad intelligence, enemy had wrong map, enemy destroyed themselves. Americans won without fighting, won through enemy error, won through intelligence failure, won through cartographic mistake, won because Hai made map lie, won because Hai betrayed trust, won because Hai made coordinates wrong, won because Hai spent 6 weeks creating weapon, won because 90 seconds deployed it, won because 12 minutes fired it, won because 127 died from it. Americans won, Hai won, mission won, everything won, except 127 who lost, who died, who paid, whose trust was betrayed, who were gone, who were burdened, who were carried, who were forever. 127, Hai photographs everything, documents battlefield, counts bodies through binoculars, estimates casualties, records coordinates, notes positions, professional intelligence work, clinical documentation, after action report, everything needed, everything required. Everything professional, no emotion, no reaction, no feeling, should feel something, should feel guilt, should feel horror, should feel remorse, should feel humanity, should feel anything. But there's nothing, just clinical assessment, tactical evaluation, professional analysis, mission accomplished, objective achieved, success complete. That's all. That's everything. That's what operative means. Cold, clinical, professional, inhuman, necessary. Everything survival requires, everything success requires, everything mission requires, everything that lets Hai watch 127 people die and feel nothing. He packs gear, returns to headquarters. Nobody knows he was gone. Nobody suspects. He returns. Normal, regular, just cartographer, just soldier. Everything normal. That evening, Hai writes intelligence report. NVA Operation Red Storm, 400 personnel. Complete failure due to cartographic error. Casualties, 74 KIA, 53 WIA from friendly fire. American casualties, 0. Firebase Bravo did not engage. Source of cartographic error, unknown. Source unknown. That's the line that protects Hai Nobody investigating, nobody suspicious. Just bad map, just unfortunate error. 3 months until extraction. May 20th, 1970. Extraction CIA pulls Hai out 3 months later. Clean extraction. Helicopter from Laos. 15 minutes to friendly territory. Mission complete. Debriefing in Saigon. The handler reads Hai's report, looks up. 127 enemy casualties from friendly fire. 0 American casualties. This is textbook perfect. High-impact sabotage with complete deniability. NVA thinks it was map error. They have no idea one of their own cartographers committed deliberate sabotage. This is exactly what we want. Hai nods. Textbook perfect. That's what 127 deaths look like in intelligence terms. We're reassigning you to training division. You'll teach other operatives. Teach them sabotage techniques. Teach them deception operations. Teach them how to turn enemy systems against themselves. Teaching assignment. Stateside. Safe. Sounds good. What else can he say? That 1 to 27 weighs heavy? That watching them die through binoculars changed something? That clinical documentation doesn't erase faces? Can't say these things. Not to handler. Not to CIA. So, sounds good. The debrief concludes. Hai is processed out. New identity, new assignment, new life. Everything new except burden, except carrying, except 127. Those stay. Those permanent.
Those forever. Today, carrying 127. Nguyen Van Hai is 83 years old now, retired, living in California, decades removed from war, everything past, everything history, except 127. Those stay, those present, those permanent. When asked about Operation Red Storm, Hai says, "I did my job, created perfect deception, made enemy bomb themselves, saved American lives, destroyed enemy operation, won battle without fighting. That's mission success. That's what intelligence operatives do. Deceive, sabotage, win through deception. That's warfare. That's what I did." But when pressed about the 127 casualties, Hai goes quiet. Then, those 127 soldiers trusted their map. They were professional soldiers, good soldiers, doing their jobs, following orders, trusting their systems, trusting their headquarters, trusting their cartographer.
Trusting me. They did everything right, everything professional, everything soldiers should do. And doing everything right killed them. Because I betrayed their trust, made their trust into weapon, made their professionalism into liability, made their following orders into death sentence. He pauses. I don't feel guilt in conventional sense. This was war. They were enemy. They were attacking American Firebase. My mission prevented that, saved American lives. That's military logic. They would have killed. So I made them kill themselves. Americans saved, enemy destroyed, mission successful. Another pause. But those 127 soldiers died doing their jobs. I killed them by corrupting their systems, by making trust dangerous, by weaponizing their professionalism. They died because they were good at their jobs.
Because they followed procedures. Because they trusted. That's what I remember. Not the mission success. Not the American lives saved, not the operational victory. I remember that they trusted, that they followed orders, that they were professional, that they did everything right. And I made doing everything right into cause of death. He looks away. That's what I carry. Not guilt, not regret, just awareness. Understanding that 127 people died because I made their professionalism dangerous, made their trust deadly, made their systems weapons. That's what 53 years hasn't erased. That's what I'll carry until I die. 127 professional soldiers, doing jobs, trusting systems, dying because systems betrayed them, because I made systems betray them. That's burden. That's cost. That's price of success. That's what I carry, forever. The fake map is in CIA museum now, classified section, behind security, labelled Operation Red Storm, successful deception operation. Example of effective sabotage, teaching tool, proof that deception works, that forgery kills, that paper can be weapon, the map sits preserved, protected, honoured, perfect tradecraft, perfect mission, perfect success. But 127 are absent, are unmentioned, are statistics, not people, not humans, not individuals with names and families, just numbers, casualties, results. The map is perfect, the map is honoured, the map is in museum, but 127 are gone, are carried, are burden, are forever, map in museum, 127 in memory, both permanent, both real, both true, forever.
The mathematics of deception. Here's what actually happened at grid 489240 on March 3, 1970. 6 D-30 howitzers fired 1,822mm shells over 3 minutes. Each shell carried 3.6 kilograms of high explosive. Total, 64.8 kilograms of explosive delivered on 200 meters square, containing 400 soldiers. Population density, 2 soldiers per square meter. Each shell created 15-meter kill radius, 706 square meters per impact, 18 impacts. Overlapping coverage of entire assembly area, 43 soldiers killed instantly, 53 wounded. Survival rate in impact zone, 76%. Then air support, 2 MiG-17s, 4 250-kilogram bombs. Total, 1,000 kilograms of explosive. Delivered on grid 485230. 6 howitzers, 60 crew members, ammunition stores containing approximately 200 additional shells.
Secondary explosions from ammunition stores added equivalent of 720 kilograms explosive. Total explosive delivered on artillery position, 1,120 kilograms. 31 artillery crew killed. All 6 howitzers destroyed. All ammunition stores destroyed. Combined casualties, 74 killed, 53 wounded, 127 total, caused by coordinate shift at 2.5 kilometers, that's 2,500 meters, 8,202 feet. Shift created by changing 4 digits on a map. Grid 489238 became 491740. 4 digits, 127 casualties, 6 weeks to create forgery, 90 seconds to substitute, 12 minutes to execute. 127 soldiers dead from their own weapons. That's what perfect deception looks like. That's what weaponized trust accomplishes. That's what 6 weeks of forgery buys. That's what 90 seconds of courage creates. That's what 12 minutes of friendly fire produces. That's what one fake map achieves. Perfect geometry, perfect death, perfect betrayal. The United States used deception operations throughout Vietnam War. False intelligence, planted documents, corrupted communications. Nobody knows exact casualty numbers from deception operations. Estimates range from 5,000 to 15,000 enemy casualties attributed to intelligence manipulation. Operation Red Storm is one documented case, one fake map. 127 casualties. How many other maps? How many other documents? How many other deceptions? Nobody knows. Most operations remain classified. But the mathematics are simple. Change coordinates, shift positions, make systems betray their users, turn trust into weapon. That's intelligence work. That's deception operations. That's warfare conducted through paper and ink instead of bullets and bombs. And it works.
127 casualties prove it works. Nguyen Van Hai proves it works. 6 weeks of forgery, 90 seconds of courage, 12 minutes of fire, 127 dead. That's mathematics of deception. That's calculus of betrayal. That's arithmetic of weaponized trust. Simple, elegant, deadly. 4 digits changed on a map. 127 people dead. That's price. That's cost. That's burden. That's what Hai carries forever.